Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Hmm. All right. Thank you, Keith. I appreciate it. Um. Yeah. So it's Christmas Eve. It is freezing here. Um. The thermostat in my apartment is set for like 76, 78, and it's 66. I got a little space heater going. Um. It's not really doing much. Uh, it's what's that say? It's 11 degrees outside and windy. I'm on an exterior apartment, not one of the inner ones. So I guess the heater just can't keep up with it. That's how brutal it is. On a positive note, for those that were watching Bex's stream, cheers. Let's have a beer. I don't have to go to work. I spent the last hour fighting with a contractor for work to make sure that they could provide coverage for tonight, for the overnight. There's going to be a body there. I don't know about how quality, but whatever. I am supposed to have Wang here. However, he's on his way. 8 o'clock after this, Rico's going. That's always a good time. And what else do I have? Don't forget, Monday the 2nd at 7 p.m. will be the start of my new stream, which will be in addition to this one. Scotty's fishy fireside chat. And yeah, I'm excited for that. Let's do some hellos. We have Annette, Linda, Dave, Mexicali, the other Scotty with a Y, Linda, Rosie, Emma, Emma's mom, already said hi to her, Sandy, Myrick, Bunny, John from Select Pet, Keith, and Jess, Chris, Craig, Aqua Garden Zen, and Barbara Jackson, and Big Shrimpin'. Now let's go back and see if there was stuff that I haven't already talked about or replied to. Rico streaming after me. John, the what's it called? The Fish Fam Christmas one. I'm just doing. Well, actually, today will be the last one for that. Even though I already did my giveaway with Santa, I still I really like the video. It's very festive, so that's why I still play it. As far as the other video goes, yes, that has always been my intro. Yep, Ed thinks I live in a structure big enough for a fireplace and a big Christmas tree and a wreath. I wish. I freaking wish. Hopefully, it doesn't fall. Let's see here. Merry Christmas to you as well, Craig. Thank you. John, I finally got all my tanks out of the house and to the fish building. And looking around all house, I'm thinking I could fit tanks there or even or there or over there. Yes. I watched one video that you had yesterday or the day before about your your fish shack. You need to do some more videos. I mean, I'm no one to talk. I don't do videos either, but that would have been fascinating to watch the build of that. And yes, on Mondays at 7 o'clock, you have options. If you don't like my bald head, go watch Jess and Josh on their channel as well. Or instead, if you don't like Josh's beard, but you like my little miniature beard, come watch me. You have options. It's a good thing in life. Big Shrimpin', he won big yesterday. Congratulations. 3G, welcome. Mike B's wife. She's a nice lady. Welcome. But where's Mike B? We got Mike B's wife, but where's Mike B? What the heck? And Legacy, welcome. 45 people in here. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And Luke is here. Hi, Luke. I got one more announcement that I do want to make. If there is another stream that starts up and they have Santa from Fish Fam Christmas, I want all 47 of you to go to their stream and try to win. Now, if you've already won and you don't want to go over to there and cheer them on, then you can stay. I'll keep going. But I do not find it disrespectful. I don't care. In fact, I would prefer, if you have not won something yet in Fish Fam Christmas and someone else starts, go. Go to their stream and try to win. Please. Okay?
We'll just, if some people leave, we can just freeze frame.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll just stop moving. No blinks.
Fish Fam Christmas is an amazing event. This is my first year participating in it. I'm not even on the committee. I am just part of the Fish Fam, and I absolutely freaking love all of you and what you do for the community, our community. And if there is another stream that starts up and there's a Santa there, you can freaking call all you want in my stream to give the hint that there is another one. And please put it in the chat where that Santa is, and we're going to send everybody over there. All right. And hello, Jenna. Welcome. And hi, Luke.
Hi.
How are you?
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming.
Not too bad.
Short notice on a holiday evening. I appreciate it. What?
Not that many people are going to listen to me go on and on about fish and plants, right?
Well, there's 46 people in here, which is a very high number for me.
It's more than around me, so.
Yep. So yeah, thank you. I've been once I found out that you're going to be vice president of the Sacramento Club, I was like, OMG, I need to have Luke on my stream. So my stream focuses on fish clubs. This stream, I'm going to be starting another one on Mondays. I like to highlight what other clubs do, what people get out of their clubs, and talk about it so that maybe other clubs can learn about it, or those that don't have any clubs can hear about them. And maybe somebody will start a new club up. It's a win-win. So
yeah, definitely.
What's the name? What is the actual name of your club? Is it the Sacramento Fish Club or?
It is the Sacramento Aquarium Society.
Okay.
And, if you are local, definitely, of course, feel free to come on by. We have meetings first Friday of every month in person. That's going to be in Folsom. So a bit northeast of Sacramento proper. It's at a round table, so there's pizza, there's beer.
Oh, nice.
And if you're not local, you also can tune into the live stream. So if you want to look up on YouTube Sacramento Aquarium Society, it does exist. We, barring any technological issues that we have, we live stream every meeting.
That's amazing. And to confirm, that is California, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just making sure.
Northern California. Yep.
I'm on complete opposite sides of the country. Now, how long have you been a member of the club?
I joined the club in 2020. Yeah, just over a year actually. So
Nice.
before that I was living in Oakland, which is not super far away in the Bay Area, about 2 hours west, and I used to be in the San Francisco club. Before COVID hit, I was kind of actively in that club. And then when COVID hit, everyone suffered. I mean, club meeting wise, and everyone else too, but like specifically in our regard, all the clubs basically died because we weren't allowed to meet in person anymore.
Yeah.
And Sacramento, I think, was one of the best ones bouncing back. And at the time, I wasn't in any clubs. I mean, I was in San Francisco, but nothing was really happening because COVID was at its height. And Sacramento started doing live stream meetings. And then, you know, also thanks to COVID, it didn't really make sense to live in the Bay Area anymore. So I moved back out of the Bay Area and now in Sacramento with the club doing well, joined there. And here we are. Yeah.
And so you said you were part of San Francisco before that. How is that the first club that you were at, was San Francisco? And how long did you how long ago did you start there?
So I have been keeping fish and plants for maybe 6 years or so at this point. So pretty shortly after I found the fish keeping thing, I started going to San Francisco Club. And then in that process, shortly before COVID hit, I was hired at a fish store out in the area that was pretty well known for plants.
Nice.
Cool. Real quick in chat, that if someone wants to buy me a shade for that light, then I'll block it. But
that's all
this is my aquarium light.
There you go, right there. Don't move. Oh, just kidding.
Hold my hand here for the rest of the time.
No, don't. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
Your light's probably shining on my bald head, causing quite a glare. It's okay. Now, is your club where Ryan is a part of?
Ryan Enright? Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
He's a
Mr.
guy.
Killifish Man.
Yes. Yes. Yep. I know Ryan. Okay. Nice.
Ryan's a great guy.
He's a very good guy. Taught me a lot. I learned a lot from that guy, and I still do. So you've been there about a year, and you have monthly meetings or every other month, or there's some clubs that meet twice?
We have monthly meetings. They're the first Friday of every month, and every meeting entails brief updates on goings-on, but then a lecture from someone and an auction afterward.
Okay. And I think you was Sarah Walker one of your presenters recently, maybe?
I can
on Killies?
give you... I'm not 100% sure. I have missed a couple meetings going to some events, but on the website, there is so we have records for the people that have come to present prior, but also I'm currently looking at it. All of 2023 has been scheduled out. So
Oh,
if
that's
you want to look on
amazing.
the site, you can find
Right.
like someone is coming in this month, and that's the month that you're gonna make your journey out to see it,
Oh, wow.
or whatever. You can plan that out.
Wow.
And of course, things happen. Someone might cancel or not be able to make it or whatever. So it doesn't always, there are times where a short notice change happens, but for the
Oh, yeah.
most part, for the most part, 2023 is fully booked out, and there are 2 months of 2024 that we have spoken
Oh,
for
my
as well.
gosh. That's
Yeah.
impressive. Select Pet here says, mentioning Sarah, that she talked in Nashville. Um, I believe before that she went out to California. I thought she was doing a talk, but I could be wrong. Um,
I do not see Sarah Walker in our recent
okay.
presenters. No.
She may have just attended a meeting, maybe then. Um,
Yeah.
but sometimes she's in chat here, and those that went to the Keystone Clash this past year, or past event, it's still the same year. Um, she was there. She was the AKA representative. Um, so you do a lecture. What are some of the biggest names that you've had that you remember or that you know of since you've been there?
So actually, we have a lot, like just in our club, I think we have a really deep knowledge base.
Oh, wow.
Not even considering presenters, but
Mm-hmm.
you know, yeah, Ryan
Yep.
is in our club. He's a big killifish guy.
Yeah.
Dr. Eric Thomas, who's very well known for Corey's and a couple other catfish.
And
Uh,
he does a talk on diseases and medications, I think.
I believe he has one, yeah,
I
but
think you presented at the class.
yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. You're lucky.
Yep. Yeah, we also have Dr. Ron Coleman, who's pretty well known in the cichlid hobby. Some people may know certain Pam Chin, who's
Yeah.
also part of our club, lifetime member.
Okay.
She's she doesn't come to every single meeting, but she's in
Right.
the area, and we see her sometimes.
Wow.
Um, so they're just like in our club, the ability to talk to other people who really do know a lot more than your average person, even
Right.
your average person in most other clubs,
Yeah.
I would say. And then we had a lot of breeders come to talk. Most recently, I think we had Barbie Fiorentino come and talk to our club about plumbing a fish room, and
Right.
that's just I haven't seen as applicable a talk to just any random person who would come into a fish club. There are a lot of talks that are a higher level, like this is how you distinguish different species of this genus or whatever, but not everyone comes and talks to you about like, hey, how many fish tanks do you have? One? Okay, you still benefit from this talk. Or
Right.
like, how many do you have? Oh, 80? You have 3,000 square feet of fish room? Okay, you still benefit from this talk. There's
Yeah.
no distinguishment. And I've really been enjoying those talks. But also, like, next year, we have in August, Alex Martin is coming to talk about Vallisneria. And in October of this year, I went to the AGA and he gave
Mm-hmm.
a talk about Vallisneria, and it was really in depth, and it was an awesome talk. But regardless of how awesome your talk is, I don't know exactly how applicable that is to the average person in our club,
Right.
right? I don't see that many people actually having a need to ID their Vallisneria by species.
Yeah, some do though.
I
Some
mean,
do.
I personally like to be able to also, but
Mm-hmm.
to each their own.
Yeah. There's You gotta have a diverse group of speakers over the course of a year to cater to all of the attendees. Whether it's someone that doesn't even have a tank yet but is thinking about it, or someone who has is like a plant expert like yourself. I mean, you really do want to cater to everybody.
Yep,
So it's good to have
definitely.
diversity. Absolutely. So, do you have the lecture, and then what happens after that? You have an auction?
Yep, we have a lecture every month, and then that lasts maybe about an hour or so with questions and answers at the end, and then we have an auction that has, it's a variable number of items per month.
Hopefully, it doesn't catch fire.
It's an LED.
Oh, that's good.
And if it does, you tell me.
I'll let you know. I'm good at detecting that stuff. I've been in the fire service 22 years. Um, so what are your auctions like? Or do you like get 100 items, or is it like 10 items? I've seen both.
It's I have not personally seen an auction with fewer than 80 or so items.
Wow.
Twice a year we have a mega auction where we don't have a speaker and it's just the auction the whole time. Those
Yeah.
I don't have any figures in front of me, but I want to say those will average 300 to 500 items
Oh, that's
depending on
awesome.
attendance. Yeah.
That's great.
And every month we have some interesting stuff because the people that I mentioned earlier also participate in things like the BAP and HAP program. So we always have fun things that you wouldn't find anywhere else.
Yeah. What are some of the rarest items you've seen at your club?
Well, some of the rarer Africans that I admittedly don't specialize in come in pretty often. I'm actually the BAP and HAP chair. Also, the old chair recently decided he didn't want to do it anymore. But I
Right.
can tell you exactly what the most interesting things are, depending on what you're interested in.
Well, what would you say are ones that, in your experience, you have never seen in any club auctions?
So one that caught my eye, and I believe the person who submitted that to BAP is no longer in the club, unfortunately. But I saw
Oh,
that
no.
someone had bred pipefish,
Okay.
which was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And in their form response, there was no salinity, meaning they did it in full fresh, which is also an extra layer
Yeah.
of
Uniqueness.
impressive. Yep.
Wow.
So yeah, our resident master breeder has indeed entered some very interesting African species. There are a few Oreochromis species. Edwardson's Esculentus Tanganyike. Some of these are older records. Some of them are much more recent.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of Xenotokas and other Godeids come in as well.
Wow.
Yeah, so also in our CARES program, or our BAP and HAP program, we give you points if you're breeding something that's on the CARES list.
Right.
Currently just the CARES list, but eventually we'll hopefully expand to some other endangered species lists and stuff.
It's pretty cool because it sounds like your club is a lot similar to my clubs on the East Coast, and in doing this stream and talking to many other people, um, literally geographically in between us, there are many other types of fish clubs that either don't do nearly as much as we do or run their clubs totally different. So it's quite fascinating, and one
Mhm.
of the reasons I love doing this stream and having people on it.
Where are
Um,
you located again?
I'm in Delaware, but most of
Okay.
my clubs are in Pennsylvania. So
Okay.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
quite fascinating. It's I am taking over for the one club, Bucks County. I'm going to be the BAP chair. Um, and then not only at that club, but more so at the Aquarium Club of Lancaster County in Pennsylvania, where I'm going to become president in a few days. Um,
Congrats.
thank you.
Got
Um,
yourself some more work to do.
yeah, yeah. As if the Keystone Clash isn't enough. Um, but I'm going to be, or I have been extremely active in the BAP and HAP program there. Luckily, I don't run it. So yeah, it's quite fascinating to hear how yours is similar, and we have a CARES program as well, which I am very active in because it's something I'm passionate about. Not only do I enjoy the BAP, but when you can add on to it the CARES program and then make it some killifish as well, it's the best of all worlds.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. I think
How
that
do you, how do you track your? You just do it on a spreadsheet, or do you have like a computer program that you do, or
well,
paper?
about that. Yeah, we actually there were records kept in a few different spots. So uh, when I took over, it was sort of a surprise on everyone's account.
Yeah,
So a friend of mine helped me, and we went through and consolidated all of the data. So now we do have a spreadsheet that
that's good.
has the points.
That's good. Um, I actually ran into a similar situation at one of the clubs where the past document, or yeah, the document, the spreadsheet, somehow got corrupted, and we lost a lot of information.
I experienced something similar.
Yeah, which
There
makes it very,
was
very challenging.
there were a number of hours that I spent manually looking at cells of information
Yeah,
and transcribing them so that they would appear in the right column once they were in the new spreadsheet. It wasn't super fun,
well, at least
but
you were able to get to
yeah, exactly. It
it.
didn't all disappear, and that's where I'm glad that we had three different documents to consolidate info
Yeah,
from. But for the rest of the time where the data did exist, it was just an extra annoyance because at some points the cells were filled but had different information. So then, luckily, I know that you don't have 1.001 parts per million nitrate. So then we can sort of fix that kind of a thing where it's an
yeah.
obvious denotation error, but others are a little more difficult.
Does your club do lifetime award achievements like for for BAP and HAP? So like if you once you hit 100 species or 1,000 points or whatever, I'm just being hypothetical, you get a title or a certain award,
I don't
or is it just
believe
per year?
so specifically for that, but we do have brackets in terms of what honorific you get as a breeder or horticulturalist.
Okay.
Um, it does cap out somewhere, and that's something that we're actually looking into. may or may not change, but I think at a certain level of having mastered breeding, the point of being excited by doing this program is sort of lost on you when there's no more room to grow.
Yeah.
And, a lot of the people who participate in the program really are just doing it because they want to do it. And this little honorific point thing is just a little like, oh yay, you're gonna help me keep my records on what I've bred before, because I don't know, I don't remember, or something like that too. So I think, anything that we can do to make it more worthwhile is
Yeah.
probably not a bad thing.
Something that I don't see many clubs doing are giving credit for continuation of breeding. So they many of them do it where, oh yeah, you've turned in 6 juvenile goldfish. Here's your 5 points or 10 points or whatever. All right, here's you did a good day, good day. And here's your 20 points for that, and here we'll give you an extra 5 because it's a care species. But then you're one and done. So what if you 2 years later you do it again? You should get credit for that, in my opinion. Like, it should be an ongoing thing. But I don't see many clubs that do that.
I see what you're saying, but I don't know if I fully agree, and then following how we would resolve that difference.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that you're right. The fact that you're willing to continue the existence of this species should
Right.
count for something. But
Yes.
at the same time, if I've been in this club since I was 10 years old and I am now 85, and every 2 years I turn in the same exact guppy, for example, I might be a master breeder by now, but I've only ever bred one single thing, if I can game the system right.
It's a very good point. It's a very good point. Yeah. And yeah, that's a very valid point. I don't know the solution to that part. You got me thinking. Yeah, I mean, some things that I've run into is, and John mentioned it right here, is the old BAP and flip system. Um, that's an issue I've run into, and I'll be perfectly honest, I've done it. I have done it, absolutely, and I don't agree with it, but I have done it. Um, and then also the issue of participation, lack of participation. It sounds like your programs are definitely a lot more active, and I wish ours were that active. Um, and then the other thing that I'm surprised someone hasn't figured out yet is a really good program, like a web based program for tracking, and that has a spreadsheet that is shared and maintained of all the different species, and like more of a generic um,
Right.
spreadsheet that different clubs can either have their own page on this website for tracking theirs, or can download a version of it. Just something that is shared, that um, helps, where it's a team effort of maintaining an accurate species list and stuff like that.
Right. And so I'm not sure how your program I'm not sure which club you're speaking of specifically right now either, but not sure how your program works. But for ours, it is possible to gain points for things in other ways that are not breeding, which
Okay.
I can see both arguments for. I don't know that I personally agree with it,
Right.
but for our program, the first time you donate a species to the program, you get 5 points.
Yep.
If you write an article
Yeah.
about that species, you get an additional 5 points.
Yeah.
If you take photographs, that's an additional 5 points.
Oh.
If you give a talk about it in front
Yeah.
of the club, that's an additional 5 points. For the breeders, if it's cares, you get an additional 5 points. There's you just get 5 fewer max points for horticulture. And then the second time you donate a species, you'll receive a 5 points.
Oh, so you do a second
So
time. Okay.
we do a second time, and everything is allowed to be submitted up to twice, but that does not account for your time gap thing that you were talking about. It's
Okay.
essentially like if I have one spawn that's big enough
You
that
could do
I
it
can
twice.
qualify to do 2 BAP donations this month, then that would count as both donations also.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
There's definitely a lot of aspects about your program similar to a couple of mine, for sure. Um, and John brings up yet another great question about it. Um, does your club do any monetary awards?
So every admittedly, before the chair that handed it off to me, our program was fairly dead for a while. So he essentially revived it and now is no longer doing it, and I'm taking it over.
Right.
So if you go back a certain amount of time, there basically is just nothing.
Yeah.
And then if you go back way further to, just paper records before we had anything online, then
Right.
there is probably something again.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, that's a shame, but I can relate. I can definitely relate, unfortunately. I'm just seeing if there's any other big questions here in chat. Um, let's see here. So, sounds.
oh, sorry, I didn't even answer the question. The monetary rewards part. Now that our program is more revived, I believe that we will be doing like each bracket gets a certain level of reward, and then we'll do a raffle thing for all the members of that level.
Oh,
So
nice.
like you get a certain amount of points for everything you breed, and then in between 1 and 50 points, you're a beginner level, right? And I don't have any numbers for it, but just in concept, those people that are beginner breeders will have one $5 gift card that gets raffled off to one of them, and then second level between 51 and 100 points, maybe they'll have a $10 gift card that will
Okay.
be raffled off to their group or something. So the more you achieve, the smaller the pool that you're fighting against would be, and also because you've put more time and generated the club more money through the
Right.
donations, you should receive a bigger reward also.
And that's
But that doesn't happen every month or anything. That should be
right.
around the December meeting of
Yes,
every
and that's
year.
how we do it. At the end of the year, we have an award, not necessarily monetary, for whoever's done the most species for both BAP and HAP. And then we do have a monetary award for who's done the most, who gets the most points for both of those programs. This year, for our 50th anniversary, we're doing an additional progressive award where first, second, and third gets additional money on top of what we would normally already do once
Nice.
once the club auctions brought in X amount of dollars. So I think it was like once the club auctions brought in a total for the year of $300 for the club's portion, anything above that, a percentage of it went back to first, second, and third. So it upped it from being hypothetical. Instead of $10, you'll get 20.
I
Instead of
see.
50, you'll get 100 and stuff like that.
That's that's
Sort of
cool
some
because you
competition.
can. Yeah, it encourages people to participate,
Right. Not only
and then
participate
you grow the
in the
pot.
program, but also it encourages them to maybe spend a little bit more money in the auction to win the stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, because the money's going back to the program.
That's super interesting.
And one, it's one thing I love about the auction is while I think it's like a 70-30 split, um, that 30% that goes to the club means a lot, and it
Mm-hmm.
can help, and it allows us to do more for the clubs as well.
So,
Um,
am I understanding it correctly that your BAP and HAP submissions are still generating income for whoever brought it in then?
who brought it into them?
Like, if you breed something and you bring it into the auction, you still would take home your cut from the BAP and HAP program?
I see it both ways for multiple clubs.
Okay,
Um, some clubs require it to be a donation. Others do allow you to take your split.
I see.
Um, and some allow either. So you get extra points if it's a donation, but it doesn't have to
Okay.
be. Me personally, my personal opinion, it should be a donation.
That's how we run it, and I think
Yeah,
it makes sense.
yeah, yeah. Leslie has a question here that I have no clue, but um, let's see. She looks like she got a free fish that has hole in the head. Any advice other than keeping the water clean? Or I've never
Not
dealt
sure
with
what
it.
fish it is. I've also never dealt with it. I tend to keep smaller things.
Yep.
Uh, in general, I know that the jury's out and people have their arguments about it. Some people say that it has to do with keeping the water clean. So if you do
Yep.
keep your water clean, good for you. You've solved half of what people say. Uh, the other half is just that there's a vitamin deficiency and they haven't gotten their full nutrient and it's not all there. So they haven't been able to fully develop everything. In which case, maybe you want to find a vitamin supplement that you soak your food in or something. But again, I don't have any experience dealing with that. It tends to be larger fish that get it.
That's what I've
And I
heard.
do service some aquariums that have some larger fish, but all of my personal clients, and this might be a where they're located thing, but all of my clients have a varied diet that they switch off and feed their tanks. So even the bigger fish that I've encountered don't really deal with that.
Right.
Um, I have
Yeah.
seen people have success by supplementing vitamins with their food.
Okay. Interesting. Let's see here. And now some people are helping her out with that answer. Perfect. Um, let's see here. So far, in any club that San Francisco, Sacramento, whichever, what has been your favorite memory so far that you've experienced?
I don't know if I can pin down a single memory. Uh, just like the feeling that I had when I first started going to the Sacramento club meetings.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure that the timing of it played into it. Everyone was extra social because it was the first thing that we had back from COVID.
Yeah.
But when I was in the San Francisco club, everything was fine and we liked fish, but it wasn't super social as a club should be, I think. Right?
Okay.
You go and you learn your extra knowledge and then you get the fish that you want and then you go home.
Oh wow.
But then I came here and I do that and then, afterwards you have some friends over and you like have a drink or have a
What?
smoke or whatever and you talk about your fish at your house afterwards.
Oh
And
wow.
that sort of camaraderie I don't think ever really existed before I came here. And that's
Right.
not to say that it didn't, right? I just didn't personally experience it. I'm
Right.
sure that if I was more actively a part of that club for a couple years, I would also have gotten to that point.
Hmm.
But it happened, and the fact that there is an actual social community that cares about my fish and plants. Not so much plants. Most of the club is mostly focused on fish, to be honest. But like
Right.
a real social community around it, as opposed to a parasocial community that, I can find someone who's probably streaming and kind of hang out and maybe chat, and maybe they'll see it and we have an interaction, but that doesn't mean that we're actually friends, and that if I have an issue, even if we're actually friends, I can't really get you on the phone and say, "Hey, my tank is leaking. Come help me out." That's not feasible, right?
Right. Right.
Um, but people that are in your local club that are able to just help you out in
Yeah.
an emergency at your beck and call
Yeah.
are extremely uh,
Valuable.
heartwarming and
Yeah.
important, I think.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So it is quarter of. I've been going for 47 minutes, and I know Rico's getting ready to go. Um, my last question would be, what do you want to see come of your club? Like, what is your goal for your club, or what's one big thing that you're looking forward to or you want to accomplish?
Uh, in terms of wanting to accomplish things for the club itself, in general, I think there's not too much that I'd like to change. We're on an upward trajectory now. There's growth that we're seeing, and there are new members, and it's fairly lively when things happen. So I think that as long as we, as our new board group, are able to continue on this trend, I think we're good.
Good.
Um,
Nice.
Engagement has not actually gone down from what I've seen. Like there do seem to be new people getting into the hobby as much as there are people getting out of it.
Yeah.
Uh, and it is what it is. Everyone has different priorities. I get that not everyone's is keeping fish. That makes sense.
Yeah. All right.
Uh, yeah, we're hopefully no details yet, but we are looking at throwing a small event in the area at some
Good.
point next year as well. A lot of details have yet to be
Oh,
hashed
yeah.
out, but
It's a lot of work.
that's in the plans. Yeah.
It's a lot of work. Just don't do it September 22nd, 23rd, or 24th, please.
Duly noted. We'll do exactly those days.
Or, hold on, or Kenny, when's Fishtoberfest? Don't do it then either. No,
Yeah.
I love to see hobbyist run events. It's to my knowledge, there's really only two bigger hobbyist run club events, and that's the Keystone Clash, which I'm chairperson of, and Fishtoberfest, which Danik and Kenny E is
Mm-hmm.
or what was in charge of. I'm not sure if he is this year or not, but it's the first weekend of October. Um, and other than that, I really don't know of that many big hobbyist run all species events. You have your Aquashellas, um, you have your Catfish one, you got the AKA, the ALA, the CC, or the Cichlid one, whatever they're called, ACA.
Mm-hmm.
But there's really not that many club run all species events.
Yeah,
So anytime
agreed.
I hear of one, it's good to hear. I really admire that. All right,
Yep.
that is a
And we're
perfect.
definitely corresponding with Kenny about it too. He's
Good, good.
I've contacted him about it.
Yes. And you guys are going to get a group together and come to the East Coast for the Keystone Clash, I hope.
That'd be nice.
It would be
I'm
nice.
a little bit strapped for cash.
Minor details,
but,
so am I.
Yeah, I would like to. I'll do my best. I mean,
sometime.
I'd love to attend all the events if possible.
I know. Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, everyone. Well, thank you very much. I do appreciate it. Thank you, Luke. It was a pleasure having you here.
Thank you.
And everyone, have a happy holiday. Go over to Rico's channel.
Yep.
Take care.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.